TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, network programming in C. So we are going to make a client-server communication program. So the concept is we are using sockets. So we are going to make them on one system only, and they are going to communicate. Socket, we will open the socket in client and server, and in the server we have to bind. Socket is what? Socket, apart from protocol, it is IP address and port number. IP address and port number. We'll bind it with port number, and in the client it will connect with the server which is listening, and now this server will accept this connection which is coming from the client, and then the send receiving will take place. Now the difference between this and the TCP and UDP is, in this UDP you see there are three activities missing. So we have listen, connect and accept. These are not there, so we don't have to have any connection. We just can receive from and send to function. So this is our Linux. We are making it in Linux. Ubuntu is the distribution. So we will make a new folder. You can just make file wherever you want. So what I try to do is make a folder which is TCP client server, this folder, and I'm going to make two text file here, and these two text file, one will be for the server, one will be for the client. So what do we get here? This is the folder TCP client server, and the first file we call it as, this is the text file, TCP client.c, TCP client.c. It has to be C file. We are making it in C in Linux environment, socket programming. The second file which we are going to make is the client has been made. Now TCP server.c, TCP server.c, and then we'll just, let me just name it. So it will be this TCP, and client has been made, so server, TCP server.c. So these are two C files we will be employing, and we will be writing the code here. So I will write the proper codes here, and you can place it anywhere. I put them in one folder, you can place it anywhere. So I'm opening the client first. You should make the server first, but just to, client and server, I'm just starting with client. So hash include stdio.h. This is the standard input output file for a C program, and I'm just copying and pasting so that I just edit it here. This is stdlib.h because we are going to use standard library functions. Then we have third file as string.h. We'll be employing some string function as well. Then we have, there are now the socket and network related files, sys/socket. Now this will have this sock.addr structure, sock.addr function, that the basic function the basic structure which we will deal with. Sys/types.in, different types we are going to use, all the types now. Now this two sys we have taken. Now inet/in, netinet/in. Now this has a definition of internet protocol family. So now we have arpa. So this we are interested in sock.addr, but that structure, but we will make sock.addr_in. So arpa/inet, this is also important. So these structure I am going to tell you just now what is the difference and why we need to have one and convert it into the actual one. So hash define port 5555, and this port should be 5555 only, okay? And whichever port is open, you can just find it out. There are certain commands, you can use it. Now void main, we are not going to give anything in the command line, so we are going to hard code it. That is why hash define port 5555 or any number you can give, whichever is in the limit. Now in client socket, I'll tell you what this is. This will be taking the file descriptor returned by socket. Now this struct sock.addr underscore in server. This is a client file. Please remember, this is a client file. This is very important. Sock.addr is the actual structure, but sock.addr underscore in is that structure which can be converted, which can be typecasted into the sock.addr. But we are going to put what? The three things: IP, address, and the family in this sock.addr underscore in. So sock.addr in and sock.addr, they are compatible, but that is why we can typecast them. But we will be employing sock.addr underscore in. This is because this is quite easy to work with. Now, first function is the important function, which is the socket. Socket function will open the socket and it will return the file descriptor, open descriptor to client socket, which we discussed, which we had declared earlier. So pf underscore inet is the protocol family, inet for internet, sock underscore stream for the TCP, sock underscore dgram is for UDP. So comma 0 is take any protocol you want, mean the best protocol it's going to choose. So pf underscore inet, the first thing, sock underscore strem for TCP. In UDP program, if you go to my UDP program, sock underscore dgram will be given, and pf inet and af inet is used interchangeably. Pf inet is a bigger set. Now memory set is there. Since we have created a structure, we have a structure server addr. Now we want to just clean it up like we want, because we'll be dealing with multiple sockets maybe, or multiple connections, because TCP is all about multiple connections. So the server addr /0, I'm putting all /0 in this, ampersand server addr, I'm passing the reference here, and then the size of server addr, that will take the structure size. Okay, memory set is also given. One thing we have done, socket we have cleaned. Now, as I said, in this socket when we open, we have to put three things. In this socket, sock addr underscore in, because we can deal with it quite easily. That is family, port, and the IP address. Family, port, and IP address. Three things we have to give for the server addr structure. We are going to fill that structure. That is why we cleared it with memset. af underscore inet, address family for internet, TCP IP. Now this h2ns function is doing one thing, host to network byte order, it is changing. Because we need the network byte order and host byte order are different. Port, because we have already defined it, I'm giving it port here. And so this s underscore addr is the IP address. So let me convert it. I'm going it hard code. I'm writing it. Okay, I'm not going to give it in the command prompt, hard coding it. So local machine is there. So we want the local machine as server and client. So inet addr will convert it and it put it in the required form in the addr structure. Okay. Now two things are done. Socket open, all these content are being filled in the structure. Now connect. Now we have connect. So what this connect is going to do, we have first is the file descriptor client socket. So how wish to connect? This is a client. So we have to connect it to the server, right? So this is ampersand server addr. Now, as I said, this is sock addr underscore in. We have to typecast into the struct sock addr. This is the superset. So I'm just trying to convert it. I'm trying to typecast it. So we're dealing with sock addr underscore in, but we have to only consider struct sock addr. I hope you got the idea. Then size of is the unary operator. It takes the content and at runtime it will give you the size. And there are two things, line 23 and line 26. I'm going to change it, right? There are certain things which I've written. There are errors actually. I'm going to change it. The /0 should have single quotes, and line number 26, 127.0.0.1 should be in double quotes. Write a printf after this, connected to server successfully. Now, okay, all these things are done. We are ready. We have connected also. Now receive. This is a client. It's going to receive something from somewhere. So it is ready to receive. Client socket we have opened. So from that socket it is going to open. That socket is actually having IP address and port number. Port number is for specific process or application running on your system. So client socket comma buff comma 1024 buffer we have already declared. Buffer is what it is going to receive from that socket. So buf is the buffer and the size 1024 you can give comma 0. Printf here data received, okay, from that particular socket. So what data received? This buf. So we are going to print it. When I run this program, you'll see what this is going to do. Next thing is what? Let me just say, now I'm going to close it. All the thing is done. This is a very small program just for basic understanding. So now I'm closing it. We have to close it also. So this is not a very wide program. It's just a basic program just to have a basic understanding of the client server, TCP, Linux, etc. who are the beginners for them. And we'll be dealing with the higher things later, advanced thing later. So two things, as I said, I'm going to change it. Line number 23 and line number 26. This /0 should be single quotes, not double quotes. And as I said, 26 line, this word is 127.0.0.1 should be in double quotes. So let me come here and give it in the double quotes. inet_addr is going to take this, convert it into the proper form and give it to the assign it to the structure which is server addr. So I'm putting it in the double quotes. This is the final program. We are done. Okay, gcc tcp client.c -o client. So client is the compilation is done. That means there is no error. So this is the program we have made. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just copy this. I'm copy all the contents and take it to the server file. Server file has nothing now. And this is I'm just doing because you must understand what is the difference between a server and a client. What are the lines which are going to be differing. So now this is TCP server dot c. This was blank. Now I added all the content of TCP client.c, copy paste. So all these files, let it be there. This files also let all the file will be there, because when you see the UDP server, we don't have certain files like arpa/inet. We don't have it in the server. Now we already defined the port, but we are going to change the port. Now this is sockfd, int sockfd. We gave client in the previous one. Now sockfd. It can be any name. You can give it sock also. Structure will be same. sock_addr_in server addr. Now we will be dealing with this sock_addr_in because we'll be adding these three things which is actually connected to the socket here. New socket I'm opening. I'll show you why, because it is going to server is going to accept the connection and then it's going to will keep it that in the new socket. So we'll also have one structure here, struct sock_addr_in. I'll just change the name, new addr. Let it be like this. So now we have sockfd, which is the server addr. Remember, we are writing the server. So server has to have some server structure and have to have some client structure. So now I'm just giving this for the length, sock len_t. This is defined in the included file which we have given. So we have addr_size. We are going to use this just now. And so now this is done. So we have to open the socket. So socket is open. This is sockfd. So just change client socket by sockfd, right? Because I've just copied it, so I'm changing it. And just write it here because it was client. Let us write it as server socket created successfully. Okay. Now pf_inet is okay for the TCP IP inet. Then sock st stream for TCP connection. Memset also, memory set, we need to clear it. And here af_inet, h2ns port, and this address. So family, port, and this IP address. because this both functions are going to run on the same machine. Let it be like this. So now what we are going to do here, bind socket open. Now as I told you that here we are going to bind. So let us bind it. Bind sock. Here sock FD we are going to give. Client socket won't work. Sock FD. And then we have this struct socket ADDR. And then we have this server ADDR. I'll just change it, okay? Just write some printf. Bind to port number. You can give a port number here. Whichever you print is going to print here. So there will be always different services which have a port connected to it. So let us write here port number. So you can write it here 4455, or you can also give 5555, doesn't matter. And then we have listen. Now server is going to listen. The sock FD comma 6. Now listen means the sock FD is of course sock FD, but this 6 is how much you want in the queue backlog, because after that it is going to accept the another connection. TCP can have multiple connection, one by one it can have, but listen you can have it inside while loop so that it can listen continuously. I'm not giving it in the infinite loop while 1. So I'm just giving it, it will run only for one time, and normally the server is in the infinite loop, it always listens. So let us give a printf listening type, so it will listen. Now this is again, I'm saying it's not multiple time, it's just you'll see when I run it will just listen once. Now new socket we are going to accept. Now new socket I made, accept, and first it will connect, and then it is going to accept also. Server is going to accept when the client is sending the request. So this, let us copy it here, but here we are going to give not server ADDR but new ADDR. Okay, not server, I'm just going to change it. So it's not server ADDR, new ADDR we are going to give. Okay, always see that this should be struct sock ADDR. It shouldn't be struct sock ADDR underscore in. It doesn't, because the logic will not stand. We need sock ADDR because server ADDR is actually sock ADDR underscore in. So string copy let us use, because the content is coming and going, so we have to have a buffer. So buffer, just copy that content in this buffer. So if you remember, just give here hello from me, or hello from server, hello from whichever thing you want to have. Here you can write the content. So this string copy function we have used. Now we have to see server, it can send also. So let us send it. So just copy this. There are certain changes I'm going to do just now. Accept, it gave it to new socket. So send means you have to put here new socket, comma buf, and then here you have string length, strlen, take the length, it will take the length, and what you have to put here, strl, of course buf, buffer size. So now send is also being made, and here you can just write printf. So we have done it, printf closing connection. Okay, now let me just see here, and whatever I want to change, I'll just change it here. Save it. As I said, new ADDR, where it is going to come? Here. So here the new socket, as I said, you have to put here new ADDR. So, and in front of ADDR underscore size you have to give ampersand. These are two changes you are going to make, new ADDR and ampersand ADDR underscore size. Now let us run the program. GCC, always run this server first. GCC TCP server.c -o server, and then Then we have the server file being made. Let us run it. /server, and since we don't have any command line, so server socket created successfully, bind to port number. This port number, whichever you give, it will come. And now let us run the client now. So go to open in terminal here only in the folder, so you don't have to give that cd etc. gcc tcp client, tcp client.c, first run server, then client, tcp client.c, then -o, then this client. So this client binary will be formed, and then will run it. So client, let us run it. And let me show you in these are two terminals. So I want to show you what I type there, how the connection is being formed. So the content will get transferred because you have written the content yourself. You know how they get transferred. So how do we do that? This server is listening. Okay, server is listening. Now let us see the client. Client will expect a message. So I'm writing it. No, it's not client. It's client dot / client. Now see this data received, hello from me. From there it got the message. Okay, closing connection. Okay, so this is just a basic understanding. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.